What's up, guys? Chris here to do a quick UFC 129 post vid. Good night of fights, good event, more of an event, I suppose. But the fights were good, all except for the main event. Take of it what you make of it, what you want. I mean, if you're a George St. Pierre fan, I'm sure you were probably pleased with that. I don't know. Myself, didn't expect it. It was funny. The night didn't quite go as I thought. I figured that the Jose Aldo fight would end the quickest, and Machida Couture and Vladimir Matyushenko Brills would go the longest, aside from the main event. But obviously, outside of the main event, I was far from off. But yeah, man, just a really good event up until the main event. I would say, the prelims on Facebook, the first 4 fights. Pablo Garza getting that flying triangle on Yves Dubois was sick. The Medeski Watson fight with that spinning back fist knockout, that was awesome. Jason McDonald getting a win by triangle over Ryan Jensen, another good fight there. Ivan Menjivar, Charlie Valencia, that elbow with the broken nose to Valencia. Just all 4 of those fights flew by. It was just like, man, this is going to be a great night. Then we had Claude Patrick, Daniel Roberts. Went the distance. I was like, they can't all be great fights. They can't all be barn burners. Then Jake Ellenberger came on and got a first quick win over Sean Pearson. Didn't see Rory McDonald, Nate Diaz. I was going from where I was from my place to watch the fights to where I was going to watch the fights. Caught the very end. I saw Nate lost a decision, I believe. Not too expected based on the styles, even though I wanted Nate to win and I thought he might. But good bounce back win for Rory. Good confidence builder. And for Nate, I have to go back and watch the fight. But sounds like Nate's wrestling just let him down once again, or lack thereof. As for the pay-per-view, man, Ben Henderson, Mark Boschek. I picked Boschek. I thought he'd be a better grappler. Didn't matter if he was, because he had a lot of trouble getting Henderson down. Actually, when he did, he couldn't really do much with Ben Henderson. And Ben Henderson looked a lot improved on the feet. Ben's been okay on the feet here and there. Nothing special, but he really looked improved. I loved him, I think it was the second round, where he got up from an attempted guillotine by Boschek at the end of the round and just tore into Boschek with the Muay Thai with knees to the body and just really went for the finish. Didn't get it, but just let it all go. And I got some more good flurries in the third, but that fight was all Ben Henderson. He looked really good in his UFC debut, and I'm looking forward to see what's next for Ben Henderson. Good win for him, though. Definitely good win to establish himself in that UFC lightweight division. Vladimir Matyushenko, Jason Brills. Not much to say, except for I was shocked by the way this ended. Matyushenko getting the quick stoppage. I don't think the stoppage was premature. If Matyushenko had not landed that last punch that woke Brills back up, Brills would have been laid out flat. So, good win for Matyushenko. Machida Couture. Kind of went as I expected. I thought it would go the distance, And Machida early on was doing that thing where he's circling, keeping away. Randy could do nothing. Couldn't get close. When he did, he couldn't get Machida down. Just couldn't get anything going. Just looked like the older, slower fighter, which of course he was. Credit to Machida, though, for going for the finish rather than just languishing back and winning on points like he attempted to do against Rampage. He went for a kick. As soon as he hit it, I'm like, yo, it's the Karate Kid. It's the crane kick. It was somewhat reminiscent of Anderson Silva's kick of Vitor Belfort, but it was more reminiscent of Daniel LaRusso's kick in the Karate Kid, So shouts out. I don't want to give Steven Seagal credit, even though Machida did. Shouts out to Mr. Miyagi, Daniel LaRusso, Anderson Silva, and Team Blackhouse for hooking up Machida and Anderson Silva with those dope front kick finishes. Randy, unfortunately, didn't get that good of a retirement speech based, just didn't have time, I guess. But, good way to go. I'd rather him go on his shield and indecisive or boring fight, and good for him to call it a career. He has nothing to prove at this point. One of the best of all time. Aldo Hominick, I thought Aldo was going to kill Hominick. Early on, it looked like in that first round, man, he was tearing into Hominick. Looked like the Aldo that we're all used to seeing. But after the first round, Aldo, just go look at the first round and the second round, the difference in the speed and the crispness of Aldo's strikes. Definitely gassed out. Or, had cardio fatigue issues. Has to do with the time off, Also, I think he said had built some muscle mass. It looked like it too. His arms, he looked a lot bigger, more muscular than usual. So that could definitely be a case. But either way, I thought Aldo was going to get an early stoppage, but Hominick hung in there, survived those first couple of tough rounds. Was doing some good striking. Was getting the better of the hands, I would think. Landed more better shots, but unfortunately he didn't have the power. It would look like Hominick's trying to get in the groove, but then Aldo would blast him with something big and hurt him. Just kind of take away any momentum that Hominick would build. But yeah, man, big credit to Mark Hominick. Got that huge hematoma in, the 4th round for fighting on, I thought they were going to stop it. Credit to John McCarthy and the doctor for not stopping it, because Hominick, of course, came back and won the 5th round pretty dominantly. But, of course, it wasn't enough to win the fight. He wasn't going to get a stoppage on the ground. I don't know why he didn't try to stand him up, but unfortunately for Hominick, he doesn't have finishing power, like one-punch KO power, and even as dead tired as Aldo was, he was able to hang on for the decision win. Wouldn't mind seeing a rematch down the line, but good fight. It was a lot more competitive and a lot better fight than I thought. Definitely the best championship fight of the night, in my opinion. GSP Shields, for the most part, wins I thought it would. GSP dominated for the most part. Shields couldn't get anything going for the most part, and George St. Pierre really didn't go for the kill. You know, I'm sure he couldn't see out of his left eye, I guess, from the third round on, I believe it was. But even before that, GSP kind of reminds me of Floyd Mayweather in boxing. He's so dominant, but they're not guys that really go for the kill. They're just content and dominate you and riding it out to a decision. So that's George St. Pierre's modus operandi, whatever it's called, for the most part. But it works for him. The guy's a dominant champion on a dominant run and halted Jake Shields' win streak in the process. Shields couldn't get anything going, couldn't get a takedown. His striking, it's just not there. It's not on the level. Of course, George St. Pierre, I thought he would have let his hands go, and especially his kicks more, but he didn't. But either way, George St. Pierre gets another dominant win by somewhat lackluster decision. Looks like he may be on the shelf for a while, though, with that eye thing. Definitely looks like that was bothering him. What's next for him? I'd love to see the Nick Diaz fight. There's nobody in the UFC in welterweight that is going to challenge George St. Pierre. I'm not saying Nick Diaz would beat him, but I'm saying it's the most compelling fight out there. He doesn't. I've never seen George St. Pierre one time say he wants to fight Anderson Silva. Just doesn't seem like he's interested in moving up to take that fight. I don't really want to see it that much either, in all honesty. I'd much rather see Nick Diaz, Jake Shields. So hopefully, Nick Diaz, George St. Pierre. Hopefully, George St. Pierre takes some time off. His eye recovers. Hopefully, if Strikeforce, the Showtime deal ends at the end of this year, we can get Diaz back in the UFC. And if Diaz still hasn't lost a fight, we can get Diaz, George St. Pierre. That's a fight at welterweight that I think fans would love to see. I'd love to see it. Anyways, that's it for now. Of course, I'll be talking about all these fights as well as the preview to Manny Pacquiao, Shane Mosley on tomorrow's Science Advice radio show. Check that out. Put a link to the show and the information part of the video as usual. Link to my Twitter. Link to scienceadvice.com. Working on building a site there with another guy. That should be up hopefully within the next week. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the event, the fights. Which were your favorite? Which ones didn't you like? What do you think of the decisions? What do you think of George St. Pierre's fight? Aldo Hominick, Couture retiring, the whole deal. That's it for now, guys. Until next time, I'm out.